We'll gather round, feel the love come down. Blue elephant is strong, together we belong.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So, Let's Resin had recently sent me their little like skeleton guy molds, and they come with the little, it's not, is it a sickle? I thought sickles were more curved. I don't know. Anyway, I want to try this, but instead of doing resin, I want to see if we can make eco powder glow. Now, not really sure because anything that I've ever personally used glow powders in has never been completely opaque. Because if you've ever used glow powders, at least all of the ones that I've ever used, they're always on the transparent side. Now, I know I've mixed them in with some stuff before, but I don't know how it's going to work with this because typically speaking, with eco powders, yes, you can use mica, but it tends to like tone it down a lot because of the white that's in the eco powder, right? So, can we get the glowing effect? Will it actually come through using eco casting powders? We're about to find out. So, for today, I am using Tisrel Eco Powder. We're using the Let's Resin Glow Powders, and we're gonna see. Now, if you've not worked with glow powder before, it is not like a typical mica powder. It is more coarse, I guess, unless mica powders are like super, super fine, right? Glow powders are not the same. They don't dissolve the same way in resin as your micas do. So I decided that because of how it is and because of the way that they dissolve, because of the way like eco powders in general are fast curing, I dumped a bunch in the powdered side before I added the water, stirred it up to make sure that it was thoroughly distributed throughout the powder, and then I'm adding my water. Now, this is a 10-3 ratio, 10 parts powder to 3 parts water, and it is done by weight, not volume. However, I've said it before, I go rogue and I just kind of do my own thing. I know what it's supposed to feel like when it's right around that time, or not the time, right around like the right consistency. So I just kind of go with it like that. Now I am working to make sure that I get out any air bubbles, and I couldn't tell because I've never cast these molds before, so I'm not exactly sure how they look. But this one part on its hand I thought was like this huge air bubble that I just couldn't seem to get out. Well, come to find out later on, it's just the way it's cut. It wasn't an air bubble at all. So I spent all this time working on it for nothing, but it's fine. It's fine. Anyway, so I mixed up a bunch of the green into this batch. I want to do two different colors, so I thought green would be good for this guy. We're gonna do I think it's a blue-green glow, but it's more of a white-looking powder when it's mixed for the actual skeleton. Now, because these molds look sketchy, as far as balancing goes, I did put some paper clips on the end to try and stabilize them a little bit more to keep them from falling over. And then I also put them into a small plastic container again, just to kind of keep it from falling, because I've had that problem in the past. The only issue is there's not a lot of space like in the front and back. There's more of the support, like little pieces of silicone on the sides than there are in the front and the back. And that's where you actually need them more, front and back wise, not sideways. So I didn't realize it at the time, and I don't think it's the way the mold is. I think it's what I did. I kind of gave them both indented heads, but they're fine. They'll be okay. Not everyone's head is perfectly round, so it's fine. Okay, so mixing up the second amount that I need, and hopefully there'll be enough of this left that we can also do the little, we're just going to call them sickles, okay? Uh, that's what we're going to go with. I may be wrong. I don't know. But yeah, so hopefully I'll have enough to fill up the skeleton and the sickles. I don't know why they gave us such a big mold for the sickles, because when you demold them, only one of them has the ability to actually hold it in their hand, and that is the first one that I poured. That was what the where I was looking at his hand. It's because they have it cut out there so it actually holds the wooden part, like the handle of the sickle, and it stays there, right? So I don't know why we need four of them. It seems that they could have just made it smaller and not given us, save themselves money in molds, because you don't really need four. But whatever. It doesn't matter. All of that just to say that if you have this mold, or if you want to get this mold, you don't need to pour all four of them, because you can only use one. I guess unless you want them all to look different and change it every couple days or whatever, then go for it. Okay, so this guy's done. Put him in the container. Again, same thing with the little paper clip part on there. Now, I think this was the one that I had a little bit more trouble, and I was really, really worried that he was going to fall, because this one had even less of the support on the back for me to clip onto. So I was super nervous the entire time that these were curing, that I was going to have spilled eco powder everywhere. Now, by this time, because I've taken so much time to just do all of the things, my eco powder is starting to thicken up a little bit. So trying not to make a huge mess, but to get it all in here, I'm just going to pour it slowly, and then I'm going to kind of give it a good little shake and shimmy, and a couple taps, just to hopefully knock out any air bubbles that may be there, and to level it out the rest of the way. Because this stuff, even though they act like, I've seen multiple brands say it's self-leveling, it's not really self-leveling. If you, especially once it starts to thicken up, if you pour it in one area, that thick mixture is going to kind of stay as a lump in that area, unless you kind of tap it out, and then it'll move and do all of the things. But it is not self-leveling like resin is self-leveling. So I don't know why certain companies say that with this stuff, because it's really, really not. Anyway, all right, so we are done with this. Here we are. This is about an hour-ish later, and we're going to demold. Now, these ones I'm really worried about, because at this point, it hasn't been, like I said, it's only been about an hour. And with thin objects like this, they can crack and break really easily. They still have a lot of water content in them that hasn't completely evaporated. So they are not at their strongest point. You want to wait about 24 hours or so. And even then, with thin stuff, I would still be more on the careful side, because, it's thin, right? This isn't meant for really for casting super thin things like these in. It's more for your thicker type deals. And just ignore all of the hearts and all of that jewelry down at the bottom. I had some left over, and that was the first mold I found. We're not going to finish it, so I didn't even waste my time, or your time, actually showing you that me pouring it and demolding it. So, okay, let's talk about demolding these. Now, I had a time. I'm not going to lie, I had a hard time doing it. Now, part of the reason is, with this, like, I sprayed alcohol in the mold to try and loosen it up, break that seal that, is between the eco powder and the mold, and that helped a lot, okay? But it was really difficult, especially that first one. That first one was more difficult than this one, and I don't know if that's because I had it kind of figured out, or if it's because of the way that the body and stuff is shaped on that first one, that it was just really, really hard to get it to come out of the mold. Now, again, some of it could be because of the material that I'm using for it, and it doesn't slip and slide like resin does when you spray soapy water or alcohol or whatever down into the mold. You can kind of almost like squish it around and like birth it out of the mold, for lack of better terminology. I mean, that's kind of what I think about every time that happens. So I did have a struggle. It did take me a good while to actually be able to get them out. They did come out Do I think it would be easier with resin? Yes, I do think it would probably be a little bit easier with resin. I was also super worried that I was going to pull so hard or, use so much force that I was going to break it. So that did take, have its effect on it as well. So, but just throwing it out there for those of you that have issues with their hands and mobility and stuff like that, that this may or may not be the mold for you if you have those kind of issues, if you don't have somebody else that can help you get it out. Okay, so I just cleaned up one of them, one that didn't get too thick, that I could slide into the little hole. Now, we are not going the cutesy route with these at all. We are kind of going gross and grosser. So keep that in mind. At this point, though, I'm going to paint these, but I'm not painting them entirely because that would be it just, me doing that, like, what was the point of putting the glow powder in, right? But they do need a little something, so we're going to add some detail, add a little bit of color to them, add a little bit of grossness to them, and then see how they glow after everything is said and done. So at this point, I'm going to bounce off. I'm going to let you just kind of watch the grossness as it unfolds, and then I will be back towards the end and we'll find out if it worked or not.
Two bony fiends, they dance at night in the graveyard under pale moonlight. Their jaws unhinge, a silent cackle, bones that rattle, bones that tackle. Glow in the graveyard, eerie and stark. Two gory skeletons glowing in the dark. They shimmy, they shake, they snap, they spark. Glow in the graveyard, glowing in the dark. A rib cage broken, a femur askew. They trade their limbs like skeletons do. A crimson stain on ivory white. They paint the town in dusty light. No heart to beat, no blood to spill, just hollow laughs and a graveyard thrill. Glow in the graveyard, eerie and stark. Two gory skeletons glowing in the dark. They spin, they twist, they leave their mark. Glow in the graveyard, glowing in the dark. close to stitch its endless black, a quiet hum of frozen track. The air tastes like secrets sharp and cold. Who's there? Who's watching stories untold? Starless whispers, they call my name. A shadow dance, a flickering flame. The universe bends, it hides, it twists in the void where nothing exists. A silver thread pulls at my hand. It weaves a map of distant lands. Moonlit paths through time unmanned. Spirits waltz in the space between worlds unseen, a fractured dream. They hum a song, a broken theme. Starless whispers, they call my name. A shadow dance, a flicker.
Okay, I'm back. So he's looking pretty gross. And now we're gonna just finish up this one. Now, I do want to say, so my birthday is tomorrow, and I decided that we're gonna do a little birthday celebration. So in my eBay store from October 4th, so starting today, the day that this video launches, through the 10th of October, I am offering you guys a 20% off using the code B-Day Celebration in my store. That is going to be for most items with the exception of glitters and molds, if any are launched in that time. I've got some coming out soon. Anyway, so I just kind of wanted to celebrate with you guys. So you can use that code, save yourself 20% off during the 4th through the 10th at my eBay store. The QR code was there. There's a link down below in the video description if you're interested. Remember, code B-Day Celebration to get yourself that 20% off savings. All right, and back to the video. So now I just decided that I just wanted this to kind of look grimy and just gross as well. So we're going in with some black and dark silver, and we're just gonna just make it look beat up and just, you know what I mean? And I decided that we're gonna put some dark, dry red in there just to look like this has been used. Little bit, kind of like a few splotches of bright red to make it look like it was just recently used. And yeah, that's pretty much about it, guys. That is a wrap on this one. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I will catch you guys on Tuesday in the next one. Love ya. Bye.
Blue elephant is strong. Together we belong. In every comment bright, you lift me to new heights. Your support, it's clear, gives me reason to cheer. Blue elephant crew, this one's up for you. neighbor's heart, playing a vital part. Videos we share, showing how much we care.